What's the meanest thing a child has ever said that actually stunned you? I was working as a substitute teacher, filling in for Mrs. Rodriguez's second grade class. 23 little faces staring at me, most looking mildly curious about the stranger at their teacher's desk. I'd done this gig dozens of times. Easy money, minimal responsibility, keep them busy with worksheets, make sure nobody bleeds, collect my check. The day was going smoothly until recess. I was monitoring the playground when I noticed Violet sitting alone by the fence, picking at the grass. She was one of those kids who stood out, not because she was loud or disruptive, but because she was impossibly small for her age, with thick glasses held together by medical tape and clothes that hung like curtains. Poor kid looked miserable, so I wandered over. "Hey there," I said, crouching down. "You doing okay? Don't want to play with your friends?" She looked up at me with these enormous brown eyes magnified by her lenses. "I don't have friends," she said matter-of-factly. My heart squeezed. I'd been that kid once, the weird one, the outsider. I sat down beside her in the dirt, not caring about my khakis. "Well, friends can be overrated anyway," I said, trying to sound casual. "Sometimes it's nice to have some quiet time to think." She studied me for a long moment, tilting her head like a curious bird. "Are you sad?" she asked. The question caught me off guard. I laughed, probably too loud. "No, sweetie. Why would I be sad?" Violet pulled up a handful of grass, letting it fall through her fingers. "Because you're old and still working as a substitute teacher." I blinked. She continued, completely unaware she'd just landed a direct hit. "My mom says substitute teachers are people who couldn't get real jobs, like when you're not good enough to be the actual teacher, so you just fill in when someone's sick." The words hung in the air like smoke. I felt my face burning. "And you're really old to still be doing that," she added thoughtfully, "like even older than my dad, and he has a real job at the bank." I was 34. I'd been substitute teaching for 6 years while trying to finish my master's degree in education. I told myself it was temporary, just until I could land a full-time position. But sitting there in the dirt with a 7-year-old holding up a mirror to my life, the excuses felt pathetic. She wasn't done. "Do you live with your parents?" she asked, genuine curiosity in her voice. "Because my mom says people who can't get real jobs usually have to live with their parents until they grow up." The accuracy was devastating. I'd moved back in with my mom 2 years earlier when my roommate situation fell apart. Temporary, I told myself, just until I got back on my feet. I cleared my throat, trying to regain some adult authority. "Well, Violet, some people choose different paths in life." "But you look sad," she interrupted. "Like my aunt before she got her life together. She used to substitute teach too, but then she became a real teacher and got married and had babies. Now she's happy." She leaned closer, lowering her voice conspiratorially. "Maybe you should try harder." The playground noise faded to a distant hum. This tiny human, this lonely, overlooked kid I'd felt sorry for, had just delivered the most brutally honest assessment of my life I'd ever heard. No malice, no cruelty, just pure, unfiltered observation from someone too young to understand the devastating power of truth. I stood up, brushing dirt off my pants. "I think I'll go check on the other kids," I managed. "Okay," Violet said, already back to picking grass. "Thanks for sitting with me. You're nicer than most substitutes." That night, I updated my resume. 6 months later, I had my teaching certificate and my first real classroom. I sent Violet a postcard when I got engaged 2 years after that. Sometimes the hardest truths come from the smallest voices.